on the troll.
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back. It is that time. Yeah, right, guys. I know you probably are sleeping, and that's a good thing if you're sleeping. But if you're up, you're with us now. Promise you that we're going to be looking to some of these cases that Ratha, I would say, that made him, in a sense, and look at the character.
Made him as a judge.
As a judge, yes.
As a judge.
Yes. And look at the character. Is this something new? Is this something that is used to doing? So we're looking at one of the cases that I think took South Africa by the storm. It surprised us that there were things like that. This is Jeppe's case. It was a big thing. Some call it massacre. It was a very big case. So Emil is going to narrate that case. In that case, and I have to say this, in that case, we are on the side of, my side, because we have went through it. I believe that those guys did it. I really believe that, in my opinion, those guys did it. That's the disclaimer. But what we're looking at is how Ratha conducted himself there. And we're going to narrate a bit on that case. Greetings. Like the video, share the video, do everything that you can do. It takes time to actually research these things. So promise you that we are going to look at one of these cases. We're going to look at the case where I think, in my opinion, as much as he made mistakes there now and then, but I think at some point we must give him his credit there. It's a good one. So we're reviewing the good one, I would say, where he took the better decision towards the end overall. But there are things that are going to happen along the way that would show you what kind of a person Ratha is. So have that in mind. And then we're going to look at the other one, perhaps later on, Emily, as you get time. That is a completely different case that maybe shows a lot of characters on Senzo's case. There are also characters that are in Senzo's case, right?
There are some things that are similar that have happened in previous cases that he's presided over, in terms of his behavior, in terms of his demeanor in court. They're like a repetition, or somehow he always does the same thing. It's sort of like a pattern. So this case in particular...
We should explain, perhaps, those who are saying, who are alleging that maybe he was handpicked for a certain reason. We should make it maybe easier for them to draw their conclusion.
And also, like, you know, there's a particular way of doing things that he does things that also, in my opinion, I feel like the same attitude that he had over this Jeppe's case is the same attitude he brought to the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Even though the circumstances are different, but you can tell already he has, in his demeanor, he's already saying that these people are guilty. And he had the same demeanor with this case. But with this case, it was easily to overlook it. It was so easy to overlook it because the people that were the accused in that trial had committed the crimes. There was no doubt in whether they had the right people arrested or not.
Yeah, because they were caught red-handed, right?
Yes.
And then they did some of the things that they did to police, right on the scene.
So he brought the same type of attitude to the Senzo Meyiwa trial.
Yeah, right. Let's go through it.
So first I want to put a disclaimer with regards to the families that were affected by this case, as well as the widows that were left behind to pick up the pieces of their husbands were killed while doing their jobs. This video is in any way, shape or form to revoke pain that they have endured, and we honestly salute their lives because they died on duty. They died while performing their jobs as police officers. So this video is mainly done to get to understand the demeanor of the judge who was presiding over that case, Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng. Not his person, rather, or him in a personal capacity, but rather the demeanor and behavior, and kind of like connecting the dots of how this behavior we are seeing in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, he has demonstrated it before. It's just that at the time that he delivered this judgment, it was kind of fitting for the crime. And according to the families of the deceased persons as well, they believed that it was a just judgment and conviction. So we as Mzansi Reality have decided to look at some of the red flags that we have picked up that are kind of showing themselves also in this case. They are kind of a repetition of what has happened 15 years ago. Now, today, in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, he's kind of doing the same thing. You know, and if they were not, we thank God for the journalists that were attending this trial and writing and giving us drips and drabs. Because now, I believe that after this video, perhaps it will make sense why a majority of us believe that at the end of the day, a guilty verdict is going to come out of this case. He is going to convict them. I don't know, he's given the same attitude. So in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, we have been subjected to Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng's demeanor and behavior, and how he has seemingly been seen to side with the state on more than one occasion. I mean, we see that every time that the state delays or does things that are not right, he kind of keeps quiet and acts like nothing is happening. It's everyone else's fault besides the state. He will find somehow, somewhere to twist it to become the defense's fault instead of holding the state accountable. And he's already creating that impression that he believes that these people committed the crime, even though there's no evidence yet that is solid linking them. And he would rather focus on other things. He would rather focus on the phone calls that were made in 2020 to girlfriends and whatnot, without even having proof without a doubt that the owner had their phone with them, or they were the ones performing these activities. But he chooses to side with the state because the state is what they are saying, and he says whatever the state is saying is true. Whether the evidence is heavy enough or what, it doesn't really matter to him. And I'm curious to see what his judgment will look like at the end of this trial, but already we kind of have a picture of where it's going. So, and they can do no wrong in his eyes, and they're beyond reproach, and also overreacting. You know, there's this pattern also that he's demonstrated overreacting whenever either the accused do something that he deems wrong, or the defense counsel or one of the defense counsel do something that he deems as wrong. You'll see this dramatic overreacting and like shouting and stuff and talking to them like they are children. It is very, very something that is not new. I thought he's only doing it for this trial, but turns out he has a reputation of doing this, and he's done it before in the past. Now, we would not care about the accused if there was evidence implicating them. I mean, if they were guilty, honestly, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, Judge, do whatever you want. Do whatever you see fit. Let justice prevail. Let justice do its cause. But then it hits different when you don't have sufficient proof or evidence to say that these people really did do the crime. When you feel like this feeling, there's a strong feeling amongst most people that do follow the case that these people have nothing to do with what happened in that Spaza house. Now, how come is it that the people who were around the incident, first of all, were never spoken to, and all of a sudden we have 5 people that are being accused, and they're saying that these people are there. However, their DNA is taking them out of there. Although he tried to spin it and say it is inconclusive does not mean that they were neither here and there, even though the DNA expert says that it's not a match. You understand? So, and also, it's a lot going on with that aspect of, okay, it seems like the judge is not considering those things that are taking the accused out of the scene. Right now, we have nothing quite tangible to say that these people were around the vicinity of the area during the incident. And right now, although the state is working on placing accused number 3, but how they are placing him as well has a lot of doubt in it. It's not definite. To say that there's an estimation that to go to Vosloorus it takes 24 minutes or whatever they want to paint it, his phone still does not say that around the time of the incident he was at the scene. It's still placing him there as Judge Hoch. So they're trying to paint a narrative that he may have left his phone. But what proof do you have that he left his phone and he wasn't there with his phone switched off? That is something that they're failing to prove. And right now we must entertain all of this, entertain it. And the judge is also entertaining it. And I don't know why, but it is how he does his job. I mean, with this case in particular, there's a particular pattern that will show itself as I go through it. I did not cover the case holistically, but I did pick up his behavior that I found to be similar to what he's demonstrating to us in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. So this case happened 15 years ago. Now, another interesting thing about it is that it happened more or less within a year or after a year when Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng was sworn in. He was sworn in 2007 as a judge, and then a year later he was sitting over this case. So back then, no one cared about the accused in that trial much because they were guilty. I mean, there was no doubt cast as to whether the wrong people were arrested or whether they were the ones that had did the crime or not. It was kind of, it was them. They did it. They were found with evidence that one could not deny, and they did commit the crime. So the fact that they were treated like they were guilty before presumed innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty did not really matter to Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng at the time, and he could get away with it at the time. For one, there were no cameras in the courthouse, and 2, the accused were very much guilty, of performing that massacre that had 4 cops lose their lives. And it was a horrible, horrible crime. We know how much it is awful to kill police officers while they're on duty. Killing a police officer is a big deal. And you are going to be thrown in jail if you commit such a crime. So prior to being sworn in, Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng had been practicing law for 35 years. And in 2007, he was sworn in as a judge. And a little over a year later, he presided over a case that received media coverage. Although it was minimum, there's no video footage much of what was happening with the case, but it was quite a big case at the time. Now, the Jeppe's 13, or the Jeppe's massacre, or Jeppe's trial, it was what it was referred to as. And what happened with regard to this trial is that 13 men were standing trial charged for robbing a Pick n Pay in Honeydew, Pick n Pay supermarket, where we buy groceries and stuff. The one located in Honeydew was robbed in the West Rand, Johannesburg, and they managed to take away 41,000 rands at the time. I don't know what I would equate it to in the times that we're living in, but back then 41,000 rands in 2006 was quite a lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
So although it was estimated that this gang had 20 people that were implicated in the incident of the robbery, and the shootout with the police. There's 2 incidents that happened on the same day, back way when the police were still, working, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, however, about 5 people were shot dead that were presumed to belong to the gang.
Yeah.
And 13 of them that were alive stood trial.
Mm-hmm.
So they committed the robbery, and basically on that Sunday, they were terrorizing people. Now, it was a mall or a plaza on a Sunday, the 25th of June 2006. They came in, they terrorized. There's even a couple of witnesses who were talking about how they horrified them. There's a person who was saying that people were jumping over potatoes in the store. It was a whole thing, mess. They get into the store armed, robbing the store, and people are shopping. And one person said that, I saw somebody jump over the sack of potatoes. Another person was saying, I hid my wallet underneath the tomatoes. And another person also outside, it was a disabled woman who also testified against them in court to say that they actually assaulted me. Before they went in and robbed the store, they assaulted her and took away her purse. And then just as she was about to panic and react and cry, she could hear people screaming inside the store. So it was really bad. It was one of those worst things that could ever happen
to you when you are going to shop.
They then fled the scene, and the police immediately followed them after they had committed this crime of robbing the Pick n Pay in Honeydew. And their search led them to Modern Street in Jeppe's town, in Johannesburg. Yes, in Johannesburg on the very same day. That's why I'm saying back then the police meant business. Okay, they were working.
Or was it because it's a store that is, yeah.
Still, they worked.
I'm saying even now, if you were to do that, you probably get the same treatment because
it's a store.
You're touching capitalism there.
Yeah, it belongs to the very important people who've got big pockets. So the police confiscated 35,000 rands from them. So they had already spent some of the money. And a shootout took place. Now, one of the people that were accused said that the police were the ones who shot at them first, and then they started shooting back at the police. However, the police have a different version to say that they're actually the ones who started shooting at them. And in his judgment, Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng was like, the police had every right to go after you and want to arrest you. You did not have a right to turn back at the police and start shooting at them, of which I agree with.
No, I do agree also.
They were doing their jobs, and they are protecting of the people and the citizens and all of that. They're protecting the state. So you now going and shooting at the police is
not justified.
No.
It started by you doing the wrong thing.
Yes, that's what basically he said in his judgment, that they were the ones who started, by doing the wrong thing, committing a crime. And now the police had a work to do, and their job was to go and arrest them. And they were interfering with that process. So 4 police officers on that tragic day ended up losing their lives. They were shot at by this gang, and they died on the scene. And 5 of the robbers who were also alleged to have been armed, because some of them, they were found with weapons next to them as they were lying there. So they were also died on the scene in the shootout between them and the police. So that is just a brief summary of that case and how it went to trial. So 2 years later, or around after the incident, because the trial now began in 2008.
Yeah.
And the incident took place in 2006. Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng presided over this case. And mind you, it was more or less a year after he was sworn in, because he was sworn in 2007. So although the accused were very much guilty, the eyewitnesses who witnessed this whole ordeal and robbery, to even the shootout in Jeppe's town, they came and testified in court.
Yeah.
And Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng sang praises over their testimonies and deemed them to be truthful, and also did not assist the accused. It also did not assist the accused, with some of them, the fact that they had gunpowder residue on their hands after they were tested after the incident.
Yeah.
So that also helped in getting them a guilty verdict. The evidence was overwhelming. So Mokgoatlheng gave them life term sentences. He sentenced them to life.
Yeah.
He gave them 4 life sentences each.
Thank you, Tsidi, and I'm happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. We really appreciate you. These are tough days. Yeah, let's go.
Then each for murder plus 40 years. 40 years now. These 40 years are separate from the sentence of life.
Yeah.
4 life terms that they got, because remember they killed 4 cops, 4 police officers. And 40 years each for the other crimes that they committed. Now this included the robbery, the attempted murder and the assault and the carrying of illegal firearms and illegal ammunition, and all of those charges together. He decided to sentence them an additional 40 years.
Okay. Fair enough.
They asked for it.
Yeah.
We don't do such crimes if you don't plan on sitting in prison for the rest of your life.
And then you killed on top of that. If they just lay down and accepted being arrested when they were caught, I'm sure it could have been less.
They took away breadwinners, they took away fathers, they took away, and people that were very important or deemed important. These are police officers. So one accused was only charged for robbery and attempted murder.
Yes.
And the charge of murder was taken out because they said they didn't have sufficient evidence that he contributed towards the killing of the 4 police officers.
Yeah.
There was also another female who was standing with the accused there. This female said to have worked for Pick n Pay and was said to be the one who gave the gang inside information about the store.
But to keep in
because she was spotted or seen
language
with the gang, one of the gang's members. She was spotted with them. However, her charges were acquitted because there was not enough evidence against her or implicating her to the crime. Now,
so she walked free.
She walked free.
Lucky.
She was lucky. So this trial was not without any dramatic episodes coming from Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng. Reading about it, I was like, this is not new. He's been doing these kind of things and, lashing out at the defense counsel and calling them unprofessional is nothing new. He has been doing. Consistent in this. He's done it before. He slammed a defense attorney in the trial and even went as far as advising the client being represented by the lawyer to drop him as his legal representative and look for another lawyer. Guys, I'm like, yeah, he really took it there. The way Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng has always been petty. It was reported that while handing down judgment in the Jeppestown massacre trial, he lashed out at the country's legal system. He said, and I quote, or rather reading it verbatim as it was said, that he said in his own words, not mine, "The bar's counsel ethical standards have been eroded to such a point that a counsel can justify his absence in court by saying he's somewhere in Berea and requests to be fetched." Now, this was in response to one of the defense counsel of the accused in the Jeppe's trial. He had not shown up in court. And this is reminiscent of Mngomezulu that day when he decided not to show up because he was sick and he talked, but at least he communicated. He said he talked to the court register and the judge was not happy. He said they should have talked to him. Mngomezulu should have picked up the phone and called him instead. So In 2008 now, he was throwing a fit to say that this lawyer is failing to show up in court. So unprofessional. Wara, and he's one of the defense counsels. He was representing the accused. Now, he was referring to one of the Jeppe's Town massacre accused, defense advocate Mlungisi Buthelezi, after he failed to arrive in court on time. The second time in 1 week. Apparently, there was prior to this incident that he had arrived or not arrived in court, but literally he arrived like 5 minutes after Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng had decided to adjourn the court because he was not happy. And then 5 minutes later, apparently he arrived. Now, only after one of the advocates decided to call Buthelezi or advocate Buthelezi did the court learn that he had a problem with his car. So he had a problem with his car, couldn't show up to court. One of the advocates, defense advocate, decided to call Buthelezi to ask where he was. And he said that he was having problems with his car. Remember how even with Mngomezulu, when he couldn't show up to court and his PA has sent the court register a letter to say that Mr. Mngomezulu would not be able to show up, it was communicated with the court register, but Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng was not happy. He wanted a direct communication. And that is the same day where he blasted and started to criticize black lawyers, talking about how unprofessional they are. Well, in the Jeppe's massacre case, Judge Mokgoatlheng said that it is obvious that this particular counsel doesn't respect the integrity of this court. Neither does he represent the integrity of his colleagues and his own integrity as a counsel. He didn't end there. He then instructed the accused, Sianda Mngomezulu, to apply for a new legal representative from the Legal Aid Board. So he was literally advising the client of this advocate who was late and didn't show up in court to say that change this lawyer and get another one in his absence. Yo, Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng has always been messy. Yo, guys, he's always been messy. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what now? What? He advised him to say, you know what? Cut out this lawyer since he decided not to show up in court. Although I don't agree with him not sending any communication at all, but I don't know the circumstances of what he was caught up in. Maybe the phone of his battery had died as he was, stuck there with a car that was not working. We don't know the full story. We don't know his side of the story. What we can work with is these utterances that were said by Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng in court. So the Legal Aid Board at the time said that it noted the judge's comments and it would take the necessary action once it had completed its probe into Advocate Buthelezi's behavior. So already the Legal Aid Board was looking into investigating Advocate Buthelezi's behavior because they believe the way that Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng was painting him out to be, it seemed like it was somebody who was doing this on purpose. It was somebody who was intentional about not showing up to court. It was someone who was very unprofessional, So it was really bad for this advocate at the time. So this could include invoking a de-accreditation, is what the Legal Aid Board was advising around the time. The de-accreditation clause of the Advocate Service Level Agreement with the Legal Aid Board and requesting the relevant legal professional body to take disciplinary action. Already it was going there. So he was literally burning him. He was destroying his career. Yes, in my opinion. And he was also accused of the very same things, secondly, that he's being accused of in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. There's various accusations that have come across against Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng when it comes to the defense counsel. I mean, for God's sake, there's a petition that describes every single issue that he has demonstrated and shown in that courtroom. Judge Mokgoatlheng has done this before, and he has been accused before of siding with the state. The defense counsel in this trial accused him of siding with the state. Is it new? It's not new. As we're watching the Senzo Meyiwa trial, we are literally having the same utterances. And to think that I didn't even look up all of this before. As the trial, I wanted to give him a clean slate. I don't like prejudging people, so I just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Did I do my research on Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng when he first presided over the case? No. I just did a light research to see what cases he had said over. I didn't go deep as to observe his behavior. But looking back now, I'm like, this is reminiscent of what we are experiencing now. I mean, Mokgoatlheng's excuses for intervening with cross-examinations. He had joked about an accused who said that they were not well enough to stand trial, meaning that he did not believe the accused when they said that they were not fit enough to stand trial and that they were ill. He didn't believe it. It's also reflective of what is kind of happening now with the Senzo Meyiwa trial. I mean, he only demands sick letters only for the accused when they are sick. But when the witnesses claim to be sick...
similar to what he did to that case. So that would mean that he's convinced that these are lying. Right people, and they are also lying. That's my opinion, obviously. I'm not saying that is the case, but it seems as if the man you only treat people like that if you really believe that they are not worth any courtesy or whatsoever.
So he demands sick letters right now with the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Whenever the accused claim to be sick, he only demands sick letters from them, and everyone else, Miss Fine-Tillingham, I don't recall them being asked the details of the kind of doctor that was going to examine them and the sick letter, and those nitty-gritties are never asked, even though she took probably the longest adjournment of everyone who's been sick in that courtroom. Nothing of such was required. It wasn't imperative. But when it comes to the accused, they have to prove that they are indeed sick, and they have to prove without a doubt. He even asked for their medical conditions. He wants to understand exactly what they are sick with. So the defense wanted to recuse him in the Jeppe trial. They wanted him to recuse himself. My apologies. They wanted him to recuse himself after claiming that he was biased when he had joked about an accused who finally was pronounced well enough to stand trial. So this accused had been tested, and then after being tested, he was pronounced to be able to stand trial. But he had joked about it. Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng joked about it. He was also, accused of joking about it. We're not sure. We were not there, remember? He was also accused of helping witnesses. Isn't that what he's doing now?
It's common. In my opinion, it is. From Senzo's case, it looks like that. I just remember to press the like button. I know that some of you might find it difficult. Yes, we are delivering to the promise. Please press the like button. Let us walk together this journey. We are still gonna do more videos. Don't worry, you're not gonna be bored. We are just hand-tied by someone somewhere who decide to stop us from working sometimes, and so I cannot work solo. Also, I need Emil and
I also need Mr. Anonymous because of the technical stuff. So, and also his opinions. He's Nanyazi, man. I don't have to explain.
Yeah.
He was also accused of intervening in cross-examination.
That's common.
This is
common.
2008.
When he was failing you.
He was
terms of
accused of intervening in cross-examinations. He was also accused of misinterpreting submissions by defense counsel.
Which is, in my opinion, similar to what is currently happening when he says, I listen.
2008, you guys.
He was not old at the time. I think he was okay.
He was 15 years younger than he is now. So we cannot blame old age.
No.
I can't believe this. Exactly what is it?
Exactly. It's a repeat. It's a replica.
And he was also accused of breaking court procedure. So he had an opportunity to answer to these accusations that his conduct had made the accused fearful. Mokgoatlheng reminded the court of the apartheid era judicial system.
Yes, what did he say?
He said, in this court, it's different from those courts pre-1990. Those judges were fearsome. Not this judge.
They were fearsome, referring to them, or they were creating fear.
Yes, referring to pre-1990 judges. They were fearsome. Like they were instigating fear. When you walked into the courtroom, you were already afraid of this judge of no color. So he's saying, not this judge, meaning himself. He's not like those judges who instilled fear in people in a courtroom.
Okay.
That's what he said as his defense, or rather, that is his
what
comeback.
So he's saying he's not that.
Because they were accusing him of making the accused people fearful of him.
Okay.
Well, he was also accused of intervening in cross-examination, siding with the state. But he had a comeback to say that it's not like that time. Now is a different time, and this judge does not do. And it's always amazing how he will, whenever he's cornered or whenever he has to answer, he will always go back to pre-1990 or pre-1990.
That's where he hides. Come back with his answers.
It's not new, this thing. It's a mechanism that he has learned, a muscle that he has exercised, because even now he's still doing it. Every time he has to justify what he's doing, he will go back to those times. Well, things became very bad, you guys. Things became very bad that even the Legal Aid Board had to intervene. So the Legal Aid Board investigated the comments that were made by Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng when he was the Johannesburg High Court judge back in 2008. Comments that he had made were about one of the lawyers not respecting the court. The Legal Aid Board Chief Operating Officer of the time, Jerry Makukwani, in a statement said that the Legal Aid Board was investigating the circumstances surrounding the media reports on the Johannesburg High Court High Court judge's comments on the defense counsel. The way Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng has always been petty, guys. It was reported that while handing down a judgment in the Jeppe massacre trial, he lashed out at the country's legal system. He said the bar counsel's ethical standards have been eroded to such a point that a counsel can justify his absence in court by saying he's somewhere in Berea and requests to be fetched. So he had a problem because this advocate was late in court. He was having car problems. One of the lawyers or one of the advocates called him to inquire what was happening, and he said that he was having problems with his vehicle and was requesting to be fetched so that he could show up to court.
Translated to this judge being this lawyer being arrogant, to such an extent as to say, "Come fetch me." By the way, you need to come fetch me.
Yes. And he was referring to one of the Jeppestown massacre accused. Mlungisi Buthelezi is the name of the lawyer, after he failed to arrive in court on time. It's amazing because the Legal Aid Board as well decided to say that they were going to investigate this lawyer for that under the utterances that were made by Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng. He almost got him fired. I don't know whether he succeeded or not. They were threatening to take his license and take him to a disciplinary hearing.
What is his name?
So, although it's Buthelezi.
That's his name only.
Sianda, it's not Sianda. The name, oh my God, I forgot the name. But it's Buthelezi. He's an advocate.
Okay, it's fine.
So also, look at the Legal Aid Board, Mr. Anonymous. Let's focus a minute for the Legal Aid Board.
Okay.
And how this lawyer was under the Legal Aid Board and how the judge made the utterances that he made. Perhaps this could explain why the legal aid lawyers in the Senzo Meyiwa trial are having such a hard time as well.
So they intervene as the people who are paying money.
Because they can be reported to legal aid.
Okay.
If they decide to fight back, they don't, which would explain why Mgomezulu as well, when he believed that he was going to be paid by legal aid,
he had timid.
Had come down.
Was calm.
Guys, naibona mara lento le. And I wasn't noticing it as I was making the research. But yes, that's pretty much a nutshell of what Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng has done to people in the past and how he has behaved himself in a court of law. Now, I'd like to look for this name that Mr. Anonymous was asking me about. Buthelezi. It's Advocate Buthelezi. His name is... Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I was looking at the aspect of the legal aid, you guys, that they can really affect how clients are represented in court. And this, to me, is a reflection of that his utterances got the Legal Aid Board to be involved and to threaten disciplinary and all of those things. And by the way, he did not say much. I don't think there was a response. I couldn't find what his response was, because by the time he arrived from the car breaking down, it is said that Judge Ratha had adjourned the court. So he was 5 minutes late after that adjournment on that day.
Okay. So the court did not sit.
They did not sit for that day because he didn't show up. Although perhaps he was maybe not right for not communicating. Mlungisi Buthelezi, yes. For not communicating it thoroughly, that I'm going to be late or I'm stuck or whatever. Or maybe he did try and couldn't get hold of the court register. We don't know what was happening at that time. Only he can answer for what was happening, although it would be very interesting to get his side of the story of what was happening with this trial in particular and his profession being under attack like that. So guys, that's about it. Me, I'm done. This is, I remember someone was asking me what had happened before in the past. I remember that, and I decided, you know what, let me do the research. Let me find out details of how Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng's past with this particular case looks like, and to see all of those complaints that are similar to what is happening here. They happened only a year after he was sworn in as a judge, and they are happening 15 years later in his retirement. Hi. Sure. It's kind of like, wow, he didn't change. He didn't change much. But although with this case, the people that were there were guilty.
After that.
Yes, he did. He adjourned and postponed the court.
This is what I'm getting. Saying the judge in Jeppe's town massacre trial had to be postponed after a defense advocate collapsed in Johannesburg High Court on Friday.
So that was the first incident. The first incident happened with him collapsing in court.
Yes.
And yes, he didn't care. Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng allegedly didn't care. He didn't care. He thought he was doing it. He was acting sick. He was acting ill. So and I think
was the advocate collapsing.
Yes, the advocate collapsed in court the same week, and then the second time around.
So he thought the advocate was faking.
Yeah, he was faking to collapse.
Yo, something else, man.
Can you read the rest of it? I remember coming across it as well.
And they're saying, okay, advocate collapsed in Johannesburg High Court on Friday. Mlungisi Buthelezi was taken to hospital. It was not clear what had caused his collapse. The incident took place after presiding Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng accepted the statement of 3 of the accused, including Buthelezi's client, Seanda Mngomezulu's 23, as an admissible evidence. Mngomezulu had made the statement to the police soon after he was arrested. Mokgoatlheng also accepted the statement from the accused number 1, Mary Maleke, the alleged mastermind of the crime, and that of her ex-boyfriend, Senzo Meyiwa. Not Meyiwa, Senzo Meyiwa.
It's a different person.
The former
altogether.
couple had tried in vain to have their confessions thrown out of court in trial within trial. So they confessed.
They confessed after.
So there was a confession.
Yes.
So they fight for this confession to be thrown out.
Yes. And then he admitted the confessions.
Malek, yeah, even this one. Yeah, well, those ones, maybe they were trying their luck, but even this one.
These ones were caught, on the day of the crime.
If we had this case in hand, we could have known that this trial within trial, they're not going to succeed.
Yeah, we would have known.
Other than what we've seen
would have known.
As time goes on,
we
realize that this is not going to be a success because he does not believe anything that has to do or someone saying that the police could have something invisible hand in making you confess. Maleka, a former Pick n Pay employee, allegedly conspired with Mweli in planning the robbery. Mweli allegedly deployed their 11 co-accused. Nkosinathi Mchunu, 31, Sizwe Mbuyazi, 25, Mbulani Mabaso, 33, Sizwe Dlamini, 21, Sihle Mdunge, 25, Mzulelwa Vezi, 28, Seanda Mngomezulu, 23, Linda Hlongwa, 22, Bekokwakhe Zulu, 28, Konzeni Sesiba, 29, and Zinto Mqunu, 27. To carry out the crime, the judge was expected to take 5 days, but it could be another week before the judge pronounces his verdict. That's how it ends.
So the first incident of this advocate, he collapsed in court. He was ill, and then he went to the hospital, got checked, and it is said that he collapsed after Judge Ratha made the confessions admissible. So he was under the impression that he's
the one causing it. He's the one causing it by. No, you see, if you are going to deal with a judge like that, rather prepare for the worst, because if I think if they knew, if most of these guys know this judge, they should have known that this trial within a trial It's just a waste of
He
time.
wants those confessions.
Yes, he wants those confessions.
As
Just do
messed
it
up
a
as they
legality,
are, he
as a
will admit
formality.
them.
Just do it as a formality
Yeah.
to say we went past through this, but should not expect him to actually accept them. He seems to be the judge who will always believe the police. Not surprising. I mean, you work post and you worked at a system that was totally different, where the police were these holy gods who will always tell the truth. And then now you're working in a system where the police actually can be corrupted and can be corrupt. Those ones, I'm not saying they were clean, they were not by no means, but I mean the system was forcing you to believe them, if we may say so. The system was saying you must believe the police. I mean, how would you disagree with a certain person? You cannot say that person is lying. That was the aim of that system. And this one now is saying they can actually have a situation where they lie themselves. So, but you still treat these things the same way. There's no, I mean, if you look at the trial, within the trial of these guys, there were a lot of discrepancies. For someone who's going to confess voluntarily, there was no need for the statements to differ. Unless you were forced. And that was a big move actually by accused number 1. If he contradicted that theory, which I doubt, because it sort of matches the theory that they say initially was. Yes. So it was not even a contradiction. The contradiction happened, in my opinion, which proves that
they
there
couldn't
were two
arrest
theories.
the initial Buthelezis because turns out at the time of the incident in 2014 they were already arrested.
Which proves that
and
there
when
were
it came
theories.
to Ntanzi now,
Yes.
the theory is different.
Yes, which proves that there were theories. By the way, I'm re-listening to Ntanzi's testimony, matching it with what is being said now in court. Probably gonna deliver on that, Emil. I know I'm over-promising, but we are going to deliver on that, where we look, zoom in to these theories that they put when they were on the stand, and then now try to make sense, which is I think what the judge should do, because whatever that was said there, it could be lost in the wind. If you don't want to listen to them, and if you already have a negative attitude towards them, in my opinion,
it will fly.
It will fly, just fly, and
it doesn't
disappear.
care for it.
But if you go back and listen, you find out these people actually are telling the truth. There is case 375 that they're fighting with everything for it not to see the day in court.
Yes.
How can a case be built around that when they were not there in that case? But it has a theory of accused number 1.
Accused number 1.
You know?
Yes.
But the accused number 1 at the time was not there.
No.
Not even caught for this case.
No.
And then this one,
accused number 2.
it has the theory of, I don't know, these contradicting theories, changing theories along the line. So it doesn't make sense. These people are not there when this case is built. The only thing they did was to come and confess, right? Voluntarily. Yes.
They only have the confessions that they're working with.
So how can they sort of say what you were saying also with your documents? So from there, I mean, the judge was supposed to see, I mean, these people are
but he doesn't see it, and he's gonna drag it, and by the looks of things, they're gonna get a guilty verdict, and he's probably gonna throw in 100 years there.
Yeah, obvious.
He's synonymous for giving heavy sentences. He does.
Obvious.
He gives heavy sentences. I'm not.
Because he's not
playing.
In my opinion, he's not ready to listen.
No, when it comes to accused number 1 and 2 in particular, no. He doesn't even want to fathom that there's a possibility here that these people did not do this. He doesn't entertain it.
No.
So we'll see though with his verdict. Maybe he might surprise us. Kwazban.
But it will be the first for me.
I'll be shocked. It will shock me.
Yeah, I'll be shocked too.
My reaction will be, I will be shocked because I'm already expecting the worst at this state. And the more I read up on him, the more I realize there's no chance.
These people no, they are just in a shithole.
True. And at the time that the defense counsel in this trial of Jeppe's Town were arguing their final arguments, they were pleading and they were even mentioning the fact that they've been in custody for 2 years. No, he didn't care. He didn't care. So all these years that Ntanzi has sat there.
But look, once you plead to that extent, obviously that means you are admitting.
Is it an admission to say that Ntanzi has been in jail for been 4 years now?
Yeah, if the judgment hasn't been handed down, then you are talking after that. I know it's useless. Like you are guilty, Mos. You know you are guilty. It's like, for me, that's more like confession. Now I would hand down a judgment that will find you guilty if you were to do that.
Okay.
You argue that you are not there. You argue that you are not part of this thing. Next thing you plead that I've been. What is that for? Because you should be convinced that you are going out.
Okay.
But as we said, in this case it was a different case. I mean, these guys were there. They were caught red-handed. They fought the police. They did everything necessary for them to actually capture more evidence about them. There's nothing.
And there was evidence. Even the gunpowder residue had been done after the incident. So the police did what they had to do. Then the fact that they even got the confessions out of them on the very same day.
There's nothing.
There was nothing that they could.
You can fault
wiggle their way out of this.
They do add now and then things that actually can jeopardize your case, in my opinion. But this case, I mean, these guys were as guilty as charged. So.
But it's amazing to see how he's brought the same attitude that he had over this case.
On a situation where there's no
trial.
certainty. There is basically he has even changed the evidence of DNA.
Yes, he has. He said it's inconclusive when the DNA expert did not say that.
Yes.
They said that it was not a match. He said he turned not a match to inconclusive.
So that is worrisome, because that means.
And right now he's entertaining this path of the state with the cell phone of accused number 3 that is non-existent and is being created by the state and Pinky Fine Tillingham to say that the time that the cell phone switched off at the Johannesburg Tower, there's a possibility that accused number 3 went to force Loras. What is the basis of that?
No basis.
He's entertaining it, and they may drag it for a week. Sibanda said he's not done. He's far from being done. That's what he said before they adjourned. Far from it, my lord. Are you going to finish today? No, I'm not going to. He's far from being done. So they're going to drag it. And it's going to drag even more because they're going to have a month to cook some more, allegedly.
Hey, Serabes, I'm not going to say anything about JNU. Guys, if you're going to call, you can call. But while you do that, please like the video. I'm just going to be going through the comments here. Chuku Anna. We thank you. We were here. Mtokozi Slanga, you were here. Net, who was here. But I'm just prepared because I have tendencies of also saying people must call. If you have anything to say that could be of assistance, Please say it. And also, tell us, what do you think about this? And more. Also, if you need any videos, we are here for you. We are here for that. You give us time, as we promise, we do come back with a video.
We still need time to cook.
Yeah, of course, we don't just. Gloria is saying, hello, guys, I'm from. Hey, I almost said this is German. But this flag is from Germany, yeah? It's German.
Yes, it's Germany.
Yeah. Looks somehow as if it had colors of Ghana and all that.
No, it's Germany.
Sibandas Skatele. Yes, I wish I could like more than 5 times. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah is talking to his friend. No, it's fine. Senzo Meyiwa, thank you, man, for being here. We appreciate you. Sibanda, I've mentioned you, and yeah, it's Taka, Takawira.
Let me see.
Takawira. I'm hoping that's the correct. I wanted to say Takarira. Takawira. Yes.
Takawira.
Yeah, Skulu.
Kore Mucheche.
Yes.
What country are you from, Takawira?
Yes, Zakele Sbia.
And what does Takawira mean? Please tell us.
Yes, I'll go back to that answer. Tantayetu. Just making sure that I capture everyone today. You guys are not Bungi, Lake, Lola. Thank you very much. This is our member.
Hi, Lola.
Queen of South Africa.
Queen of South
Regular.
Africa, yes.
Okay. Tsidi Mohabi. Tsidi Anna Mohabi. We couldn't forget you. I mean, you gifted us today. We appreciate you. Proudly South African. Thank you. This is our member also. I don't know why others are waiting. Join the membership, guys. Sbusiso saying, hi family, so long I don't join you live. So long. It's been long. Welcome. Blessing my banner. Thank you for being with us also today. Just going up as much as I can. Messi number 2. Hey, that's my favorite. One of the greatest. That's a name of Messi number 2. We appreciate you, Snes.
I'm seeing Ruzani.
Where's Ruzana? I don't see. Christina, or is at the end? Christina, we appreciate you, man. Danny, we appreciate you. Right. Snentlanta being one moderator, we appreciate you. Hey, Snentlanta, it's been a while, man.
Yeah, Snentlanta being.
Hey, yes.
Welcome back.
Maserame, we appreciate
Maserame.
you. Yes. Ziangoba Mbogazi. We appreciate you. At 345 Gmail Tabi. We also appreciate you. Tembelani Kanye. We appreciate you. Tobega D, our moderator. We appreciate you. Mlambo Designs. We appreciate you. What are you designing, Mlambo? Misani Miss Makutwa. Hey, we appreciate you. Yeah, that's basically it. Winston, we also appreciate you. Let me see if there was any answer. Mtogozi Slanga, we appreciate you, man. Our moderator, Abdul, thank you for the update. Homozo Trial. Update on Homozo Trial.
Homozo Trial?
Yes.
Is that a new trial?
I think the guy from was denied bail. What is his name?
No, that's not. I think it's the lady. Is it about that lady who's turned out to have deleted her lover, two of her lovers, and it's worse than Rosemary.
You are laughing. Brilliant. We appreciate you.
I am scared. I am laughing because I am scared at the rate of women who are doing atrocious crimes in this country. Every month there's someone.
Mpo. We appreciate you. Mpo. We appreciate you. Yeah. Let me see. Did you get an answer of the name?
Which name?
The question you're asking. Farai.
Is it Farah? Is it the one?
No, the name you were asking. I don't see it. No. There's a person you ask. What does it mean? No.
Oh, Tawarira.
Someone is saying Pinky is useless. Alleged. It's not me. Not me who's saying that. I'm just reading here. Shall we ask about her qualifications anyway?
Vodacom University?
Yeah, you must expect that. Vodacom University. Good night, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. I think this was just to give you a background.
And to
did
be
the accused
consistent.
who are in prison started by pleading guilty or not guilty in their previous case? If they said they are not guilty, Baloyi may say they are used to lie. They are used to lie. They pleaded not guilty, ne?
Yes.
Yeah.
They pleaded not guilty.
This is in Senzo's case.
Mm.
Takawira is Zimbabwean.
Takawira.
This is Magaya is telling us, but you didn't tell us what it means.
What does it mean?
Okay,
Is it
Shona is here.
It's Shona. It must be
Yeah,
Shona.
it's
What
Shona.
does it mean?
It is Shona.
Takawira. Takawira.
Thank you very much, guys. I will inbox you the meaning of Takawira. Eh? It needs inboxing.
It needs unboxing. Then don't do it. Okay? We are fine not knowing.
It must do it.
I don't wanna know. Takawira must come back.
No, you must do it. If you know Sibanda. Oh, I think you can do it. Sibanda. I want to know, man.
Okay, Mr. Anonymous
what's
wants
up
to know.
us? I want to know. Eh? Takawira mean my wife. My wife.
So your name is my wife.
Eva.
Takawira.
Takawira. The only thing I know in Shona is Matamba Zikwe.
What does it mean?
It means problems.
Okay. I need to learn Shona.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm correct. It's been a while since Kudzai taught me that.
It's been a while.
It's Matamba Zikwe. Yeah.
Hey, but kumele ngiqale ngesivenda qala. Chivenda.
I think I would.
Ndimadekwane, ndimasihari.
I would start with Sean.
Ndimacheroni.
I would start with Sean.
You'll start with Shona.
I think it would be easier to come back.
Ne? Because hey, Chivenda. Who. Tongue twister. But we are getting somewhere. At least I can say Ndimacheroni. Ndimadekwane.
I still get confused when someone.
Ndimasihari.
I still get confused when someone say, what's it? Macheroni.
I don't know what macheroni, which one. They confuse me. Ndimasihari. And it's during the day.
And Ndimadekwane, I'm very
Ndimacheroni, I confused them.
Ngiyaphila nginjani kodwa nini angazi ukuthi usuka thini. Literally means we fell in or ended up in something.
Wira is falling.
Hey.
It's Matambadziko.
Matambadziko, yes.
Yes,
Matambadziko. Yes. Yeah, we're learning.
Okay, guys, thank you. I love learning languages.
That still confuses me. When someone says, hey, Ndimadekwana,
I have to think really deep.
Ngicabanga kakhulu because ngizogcina ngithi ndimadekwana.
You just have to respond by saying ndimachero nabuti.
Abuti means kahle.
Machero nabuti.
Last time, no, that's fine. We will learn along the way. Thank you very much, guys. We'll learn along the way.